Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Mailbox, the video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield 3 related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way, if you would like to submit your own question for a future episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. So the first question for today comes in from Mr. Coolbo1, who asks, would you like a game mode without respawn in Battlefield 3? I've always liked those game modes, and I'd like to hear your opinion. So I'm assuming you're talking about game modes such as Search and Destroy from the Call of Duty franchise, and I know that Counter-Strike also has similar game types, and I think that those work really well for those games. Their maps are a lot smaller, the gameplay is very fast-paced, and I just think it suits those very well. But I don't think it would really work for Battlefield, and that's for a couple of reasons. The first reason being is if there was a class system in place, I have a feeling, I already know that right now in Battlefield 3 there's a lot of medics, but I think everyone would play medic. That would be the one class to play because you could revive your allies, and it would just be a bunch of res trains everywhere and doing your best to keep your allies alive by reviving them all the time, and it could lead to some very intense gameplay. But my other critique of it is that Battlefield in general is just on a much larger scale than those games, and maybe they could add this to a DLC like Close Quarters so that it's only on certain maps. But if you extended this to like Caspian Border or Operation Firestorm and you had, let's say, 32 people on both sides, I feel like it would just turn into a massive camp fest, and matches would last forever because you would have someone go way off into the boonies, sit in a corner, and just kind of wait for people to run by, and everyone would be looking for them if they were that final guy, and it would just lead to some very boring gameplay. So it's an interesting idea. I just don't really think it suits Battlefield. I think they would really have to kind of tailor it to certain maps maybe, or certain DLCs, but in general, it just doesn't seem like it would really work. So the next question for today comes in from Power Pain, who asks, I've been thinking about how to make customization better in Battlefield 4, and I got the idea of not only customizing the guns, but also the soldier. By this I mean that a new soldier not only has to unlock guns, but also earn experience and then upgrade himself to be the soldier he wants to be. Upgrade his ability to reload, his aim, his sprint duration, his hip fire skills, and how fast he zooms down his gun. I would love to hear your opinion on this. So I'm all for customization. It's in pretty much every first-person shooter that comes out now. It's almost mandatory if you want to have a successful game, and I love it. You know, it does bring a lot of diversity to the game, and you can really specialize how you want to approach how you play. That being said, though, I'm not really a fan of this experience system that you mentioned. While it could be kind of cool where you unlock or you get faster or you sprint for longer because you've used that specialization more and you unlock higher ranks of it, I think really what it would come down to is it would give you some enjoyment at first. You'd be like, oh, hey, look, I'm one of the first guys to unlock the fast sprints, and I'm going to have an advantage over people for a while. But once the game, is out for longer and longer, that advantage is going to diminish, and it's really not going to provide that large of a benefit for the community. And really what it's going to do is it's going to disincentivize newer players to get into the game. They're going to see that you have to do all of this customization. You have to unlock literally everything, all the weapons, all the specializations, and when you unlock those specializations, you have to get experience for them to get them to the max rank. And if that takes a substantial amount of time, which it does right now in the Battlefield, and if it had this similar model, they would be at a huge disadvantage to the players that have already been playing for months and months. So, like I said, it's a really interesting idea, and I'm all for customization. I just think it might be going a little bit too far. One idea that I was talking and bouncing around with Luton and Level Cap is, if you do want to upgrade your soldier a little bit more and not just your weapons, is maybe change the uniforms on the soldier. So maybe they have a little bit more armor on them, they have a couple more ammo patches so that they can, of course, hold more ammunition. Stuff along those lines where you unlock it, then you can place it onto your soldier, and it's more customization, but it's not to the extent where you're, constantly just trying to get more XP for everything in the game. So the final question for today comes in from Ultrasonic73, who asks, at the moment, most people are using the red dot / holographic sights on their guns because they are much easier to aim with compared to the other iron sights. For Battlefield 4, I would really like to see a system like in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, their Pick 10 system. So I really like the Pick 10 system in Call of Duty Black Ops. It's very well done. I have to give it to Treyarch. What they have in place right now incentivizes players to come up with some really interesting loadouts and to try stuff out, which in previous Call of Duty games just wouldn't be the case. And I don't know if I'd like to see exactly that type of system in Battlefield 4, but to incentivize certain weapons or certain loadouts that may not be as popular with a system like this would be a really cool idea because, you know, as of right now, no one uses the iron sights. I've said this in previous videos, and it's just simply because the iron sights on every single weapon is just not going to give you as much field of view as the red dot sight or the holographic scope, exactly like you said, and that's why everyone uses those. The only time you ever really see someone use them is if they're, first of all, you know, maybe looking for a challenge, or if they just unlock the weapon and they're leveling it up to get those particular sights. And so I would like to see something where they incentivize it. Maybe go back to the Bad Company system where you kind of got 3 different slots, and one of those slots it gave you the option to use a red dot sight or kind of a specialization. So if you wanted to use the red dot sight, you didn't get a cool specialization for that slot. So it incentivized players to use the iron sights. But admittedly, that system was kind of basic, and I would like to see them maybe expand upon that a little bit and make it a little bit more complex. But the idea is solid. Get people to, or give people incentive to use the iron sights because they are going to be at a slight disadvantage to someone who's using the red dot, and give them a little bonus for it. I love the idea, and I would love to see it in Battlefield 4. But those are all the questions I'm going to be answering for today. I would love to know what you guys thought about these 3 topics. Let me know down below in the comment section. And like I said before, if you would like to submit your own question, you can leave a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.